Hey there! Welcome to Professor Purl, a YouTube channel about knitting and other crafts. I'm Nicole and this is episode 27. You can find me as Prof Purl on Instagram and Ravelry, and all the links for the things I will talk about today will be linked below. So there's this like golden light coming through here and it's so nice outside. I don't really need a hat, but it is like just that perfect fall, like crisp weather where I can wear a hat, and I just thought I'd pop out here and on my porch, which is like my favorite place to hang out, and record a quick podcast. I actually like do not have any finished objects today, and so there's like a piece of me, which is why we have the golden hour coming in here now, where I was like, maybe I just shouldn't record. But I decided that I'm really excited about like the upcoming holiday season and winter and Christmas, and like so excited. I've like ordered my Christmas cards and they've already come in the mail, and I just, you know, I thought I'd embrace that and talk about my excitement around that and maybe get some advice from you if you have some, because I'm gonna need it here. Okay, so the first thing I thought I'd share is 2 Christmas sweaters I've made for myself over the past couple of years. I'm not currently knitting a Christmas sweater for myself, and I don't think I will do one this year, but I would like to knit another one someday, or maybe knit one for Matilda. Okay, so the first like Christmas sweater that I wear every year, the first Christmas sweater I'm going to show you is the first one I've made for myself, which basically, this was my second Soldotna I made. I made a very bright blue kind of neon Soldotna for myself, and then it's a pattern, it's like a cropped short sleeve pattern color work by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knits. And so I knit a Christmas version of it. And the yarn I used, I do not remember the names of the yarn, but all 4 colorways that it required were DK weight from Leading Men Fibers, and I had purchased it from the Mouton Rouge Knittery, my friend Kelly, who has a local yarn store in Illinois there. So I just wear this so much. I wear it over like a denim shirt, I wear it by itself, I wear it with a skirt. I'm actually thinking about maybe wearing this to school tomorrow, even though it's November, just to get this going. So anyway, I have enough yarn to knit one for Matilda. Let me know if you've ever scaled down an adult sweater pattern for a child, and if you have advice around that. I'm thinking what I'd like to do is use a pattern from Tin Can Knits, their Strange Brew, that uses a DK weight and find Matilda's like size, and get the counts for that, and then insert the color work as I'm able. Like maybe I might need to modify some of it, like maybe these kind of arrows aren't quite as big, things like that. So that is sort of my thought, is I'd like to knit her a matching one someday. So the other Christmas sweater I knit last year. So last year was the first Christmas I was able to wear it. And it is this really, it looks kind of wrinkly because it was in my drawer, but so it's a reverse stockinette sweater with some shaping. So you can see it sort of like kind of goes in. So it's very, it's not very fitted. I knit it so it has maybe like 1 inch of posies, but it's intended to be a fitted sweater. I just don't like really fitted clothing in general, so I knew that and knit this a bit bigger than the pattern suggested. So the sleeves are stockinette, which is a cute feature, and there's this I felt like this pattern had so many cute details. It just, I didn't mention the name of the pattern. It's the Julgran by Andi Satterlund. If I'm being honest, there was like parts of it that were hard to read for me, the pattern itself, but it was worth it to persevere through it because there's just all these little details that I thought were so cute. Like there's this little panel down the side here of the reverse stockinette. This is very cute. There's this, it's a folded over collar, but it sits up pretty good, like almost like a mock turtleneck. And then there's this, of course, this Christmas tree in the center, which you could add beading to, or like little pom-poms. I did not, because I was trying to go for something that was like, I was gonna say classic, but speckled yarn with a Christmas tree on it is not necessarily classic. So I don't know, I didn't want to put pom-poms or beads on it. Partly the beads I didn't want to put on because I use this speckled yarn, which is really fun, and I didn't want to lose sight of it. So this yarn, I think it's worsted weight, and this yarn was dyed by my friend Kelly, who I think it's called Judy's Mint. I feel like it was custom for me. Like we had a lot of conversations of what I wanted, but even though I'm saying it's custom for me, like maybe it wasn't because she was selling it in her store. But I just remember being like, I want a light mint with like light speckles. And anyway, she has this, last year she had a bunch of this in her store. I don't know if she'll have it again this year. But one thing I'd like to do is when I bought this yarn, I also bought sock yarn in this colorway. So wouldn't it be so cool to have matching socks with this? So I would love someday in the Christmas season to knit socks that match this. That would be so cute. I would love that so much. So those are my 2 Christmas sweaters that I've made for myself. And I love Christmas so much. It's my favorite holiday that I celebrate, and okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I love it so much. So the fact that I have 2 Christmas sweaters, like that's amazing, but I want more. I don't know if this is my year to knit another one, but because I just have, you know, it's already mid-November and I have so many other goals I want to get done, which I won't get into right now, but I don't know if it's for me this year, but I know that next year I definitely want another Christmas sweater. If you've knit a Christmas sweater, let me know. Or if you've seen a really cool Christmas sweater that you want to make, you should let me know so I can check it out. Okay. This light, oh my goodness. I think this light is a situation. I don't know if you're gonna persevere through watching this, but it's this golden light just coming through. I don't know how to get rid of it. Okay, next I'm gonna talk about those like yarn, like countdowns, or those like yarn advents. So basically 2 years ago, so Christmas of 2020, was my first time ever doing a yarn countdown. I purchased a Stress Knits advent. That was before I had a podcast or even knew I would start one. And I don't even know what's the right side, but I knit the Adventurous Wrap by Amba O'Brien, and I loved it so much. I loved opening my yarn. I loved knitting this. I loved, I just wore this yesterday. It's this huge shawl, and this advent is just, it's everything. It's cohesive. It was so good. And you know, of course, maybe I'm overly romanticizing it because it was my first one and it was such a special experience to open a little package every day, but I've gotten so much wear out of this and I love it so much. So I don't think there's much to say with it other than there's a lot of garter, and essentially you just knit 2 triangles and knit them together. But this is a classic piece for me. So then last year was the first year I did Vlogmas, which is where you record sort of a little video every day of your life and upload it to YouTube. And there's some yarn stuff, but there's some life stuff in it. And like a lot of people do it on YouTube. I wasn't really familiar with it too much a couple years ago. I think last year was my first year like really diving in and watching it, and I loved watching it. And I loved making it too. It's made some special memories. I actually went back and watched Vlogmas day 1, like the 1st of November, because it felt like it was Christmas to me already. Okay, so last year for Vlogmas, I knew that I was going to be doing Vlogmas, and so I wanted to buy another Advent too, to like have something to knit that was festive throughout Vlogmas. And so I actually had 2 Advents last year. One that I bought, which was the Stress Knits one, which I'll show you the project I knit, and then one that was donated to me by the Bitten Mitten. And so I actually had 2 packages of yarn to open every day, and that was really cool. But I'm a slow knitter, so I only did 1 project, which is this. So what I knit last year during that season is the Radvent. So what I knit last year during Vlogmas was the Radvent cardigan. I should say I started knitting it, and you know, it's just, there's a lot of travel and life of a preschooler, and so, you know, I didn't finish it until, oh, I don't know, the summer. But I worked on it slowly and ended up with a beautiful project. So this is one side, this is the other side. If you watch this podcast, you've seen this, because it took me a long time, much past Vlogmas. But I also wear this a lot, and you can just really tell that these 2 pieces are both Stress Knits Advents. Like, I think you needed a 25th skein, and I didn't want to break into my 25th skein. There's a whole skein that I got with the Stress Knits, and I think I ended up picking a pink color that was Stress Knits for my stash instead of using that whole skein. So you can just, like, whenever I see these together, it just makes me so happy because they like coordinate. I did not get another Stress Knits Advent this year. And it's not that I don't love it, because I love both of these so much. It was just, you know, Advents are really expensive and a big investment in time too, not just money. And so I just wanted to do something different this year. So if you're getting a yarn countdown, I would love to know which one you're getting. But here's where I want your advice. What are you making with it? Every year that I've done it, which has only been 2 years, I've had a very clear vision of what I was going to do. So the first year I was like, I knew I wanted to knit that Adventurous Wrap by Ambo O'Brien. I knew it. Last year I was like, I had the Radvent on my radar and knew I really wanted to do that. This year I'm a little bit like, ah. So you probably already follow her, but if you don't, I mean, you probably already do. It's Anna from the Bluebird box, but like, if you don't follow her, you should go check her out. Her last podcast, or the podcast before, she like shows this cardigan she's working on, and I think she's going to call it like the Gardy Party or something like that. I'm obsessed, and I would love to knit that either out of mini skeins I already have in my stash. Like, I have a lot of them. They're like going to become something someday. Either those, or like, I would love to knit the Gardy Party, or whatever she's going to call it, that cardigan, either out of my Advent that I'm going to get, or out of mini skeins that are already in my stash. But her pattern's not out yet. It's not sold in the world. It's not even able to be applied for testing yet. So like, I don't want to like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want to like plan on that and then not have that happen. And like I just don't know. Like, I feel like I should come up with another plan. Maybe a plan B if I can't knit that. So my plan B for mine is like, maybe I should do some sort of like raglan sweater. I love raglan sweaters. This one ended up being like striped, and I love it because it's super like cohesive. But there's like a part of me that's like, maybe I should do something more faded. And I'm also leaning towards like, here's what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards maybe buying like Jessie Made's like cozy classic raglan, and like getting some like a surrey, like a cream or a white or a gray surrey or something, and just like holding that throughout and maybe fading in my minis. That's an idea I have. I don't know. I'm super open if you have any suggestions of what to do with the yarn countdown, and that might be that you just share what you're doing, because that would be really helpful to me. It's been about 2.5 weeks since I last recorded, and I am in just a very busy season of my semester, teaching wise. I think it's the end of the 11th week, start of the 12th week of the semester. I'm also in a really busy season of my career. Like, I'm not going into a lot of personal details, but I just have a lot of traveling next week, and I just have been, all that to say, I've been really enjoying my knitting, and it's been giving me a lot of like stress relief, but I haven't finished anything. And I have a lot of whips, and I've worked on, normally in the whip section I show like everything I've worked on since the last podcast. But I'm just not going to do that today because I'm just not kind of feeling that. So what I'm going to do is show you the 2 things that I'm going to work on tonight. So the first thing I'm going to work on tonight is in this beautiful bag that I bought at Wild Knits in Salem, Oregon. And the bag is made by that crafty little fox. This feels like wool and heavy canvas and leather. It's so pretty. I love it. And the hardware is just super nice. Got my Love Note pattern in there. And since I last recorded, I've made a lot of progress on my Love Note. So I think when I last recorded, I had just like cast on and was just a couple rows in. And so this is the provisional cast on. You don't have to do that, but it's what the pattern calls for, and I don't mind it, so I did it. The original pattern calls for lace, and basically what I did is I think my size has 20 rows of lace, so instead of doing 20 rows of lace, I did 20 rows of stockinette. And I've split for sleeves already, and I have these on some Purl strings, and I'm on the body. So I'm hosting a Knitalong, the Love Note Love Knitalong. It started October 1st and it goes till December 1st, so we're ready for the like winter season, but I don't think I'm going to finish it by December 1st, but I just wanted to encourage you that like just having a whip started, and you know, that still enter. There's 2 threads, like a chatter thread and a finished object thread on Ravelry, and there's a hashtag on Instagram. I'm so inspired by the people on Ravelry and Instagram, particularly like it's like mind-blowing to me how people will knit multiple. They've already finished some. Anyway, I'm going slow on it, but it's so therapeutic. I think this is my 6th Love Note. Okay, so even though I'm not doing the lace as the pattern calls, it's going to be really cute, and it's going to kind of be I've knit one of my Love Notes without the lace, and it feels like a sweatshirt that's like nicer than a sweatshirt. And I have some yellow yarn that is part of a sock set for this yarn, and I'm going to embroider some flowers on it. So this yarn is from a dyer that I really enjoy because she does math themed yarn, and this is Purls Postulates. That logo is so good. And even it's like a little ruler. I'm just obsessed with it. And this was the math education colorway. She has a STEM series, and in her STEM series she highlights different careers, and she has all kinds of careers in STEM that she highlights and for women in STEM. And so I was featured as one of the women in STEM one month, I think maybe February of last year. I don't really recall, but I remember I bought this thinking I needed a sweaters quantity for Love Note, and it's turning out just so incredible. So that's giving me a lot of joy, and sometimes I've only been able to knit 1 or 2 rows at night before I go to bed, and that's it, but that's still bringing me joy and I'm enjoying it. Okay, my other whip is a design that I actually hoped would be done, released. My testers are amazing. I'm not amazing. So I knit 1 pair of these, which is the Read More sock. It's a toe up, DK, cabled, or ribbed, depending what you want to do, sock that has Read More, like duplicate stitched on the bottom. And I'm the holdup. I needed to get a second pair knit for the pictures, and I have not finished. I don't know, did I have this sock done? I think I might have had this sock done. It doesn't have a heel because I like to do both the heels at the same time. So I have one of those done from the last time I recorded, and I'm here. So I have Read More, Read More, and I'm on the second sock. So I mean, I'm making some progress. I'm about halfway up the leg because I do about 20 of these repeats before I do the cuff, so about halfway. I just really hope to be done, but it's just life got in the way. And also the other thing that got in the way is I've decided to try to make some video tutorials embedded in the pattern, and that's been a little bit slower. Like, I just wanted to make sure I had a little video tutorial on how to duplicate stitch. There is so many good tutorials out in the world and on YouTube, but I just thought it might be nice if you bought the pattern that it would be a link right in there that you could click and have like a tutorial like of me knitting this actual sock. Now this yarn was custom dyed by Kimber's Cozy Creation for this sock, for the Read More socks. We collaborated together, and so there will also be a discount code associated with the Read More sock set. So when you buy the pattern, in the pattern will be a coupon code for this particular sock set, which will be so cool. I love these colors. The testers for this, oh, so good. Like the pictures, the colors I chose, like, oh, just chef's kiss. So yeah, I really, let's see here. Yeah, it's just the timing of the release of this is going to be kind of a bummer now, because like I did not want to release this early December, because I know that in December people want to knit their Advent stuff. On the other hand, this releasing mid-November or late November can be okay, because this is a cozy sock and I could make a good gift. Like, who doesn't want to knit a DK sock? For the acquisition section, I'm going to show you my Arkansas Yarn Company Sock Society box. Their Sock Society box is my first like yarn subscription or sock yarn subscription. I've always hesitated because like I don't need just a random single skein of yarn coming into my stash. However, I think this was the first box I got this color. This is from April maybe, and I think it's called Puddle Jumper, and this is a Musselburgh hat, and I just loved it. And I've loved all the colors I've gotten so far. Now, this is a little build up to get to this box, which is, I don't think that this color is something I would ever like go out and buy. Like I just wouldn't buy this, but I think that this is my favorite box ever. So I opened up this box and it's like a kit. And there's this yarn here and it's like orange with some whites, and look at those speckles. And mine's in the Yummy Plush base, which is 8515 merino nylon. And it says the colorway is called Don't Sweat the Fall Things. I love this a lot. Like I didn't know I would love it this much. To be honest, I don't consider myself an orange person, so I don't think I would go and buy any orange yarn, but orange yarn showed up at my door and I'm obsessed and I love it. And then came with the pom-pom. And it's like one of those pom-poms that once you flip it out, it looks much cuter than like when you first open it up. And then a little like hat, like one of those little leather hat things that you put on the bottom to make it look like just cute. So cute. And then two patterns, a crochet pattern and a knit pattern that both like look good. I don't really know how to I mean, I can do some basic crochet things, but I'm not like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable crocheting a hat. But there's this crochet hat, and then this is the knit hat. I just want to cast it on. I just want to wind this yarn up and cast it on. I haven't even put it away. It's been sitting on my kitchen counter since it arrived because I just want to wind it up and knit it. My holdup has been that I want to finish my design first. Like I need to do that, and then I will reward myself. I have a lot of travel next week. I was thinking this could be a nice reward to myself, like to wind it up and bring it with me and hopefully finish those socks either before I travel or while I'm traveling. So anyway, it's a little kit. I cannot, like, I love it so much. And then I couldn't find my stitch markers, and I was like, oh, I love the stitch markers that come. I use them, but it was tucked inside of the yarn label, so that's fine. But it's even, I'm going to use these stitch markers when I do it. This is Orange and Glittery from the state of Arkansas. They always have one of these glitter ones. I'm starting to accumulate a lot of these now, but I don't mind because I have ones to match all my yarn. And then there's this cute little acorn situation. Anyway, very pleased with that. Well, we've made it to the personal section of the podcast. So if you're only here for the knitting, there's no knitting from this point forward. And right before I got to the personal section of this podcast, the mailman came and delivered something. And it's always so funny to sit on your porch and record a podcast and have people like walk up. Anyway, I'd like to start the personal section off with what I've read and what I'm reading. Despite being really busy, I did make time to read recreationally, and I read a book called Astrophysics in a Hurry, and I have to recommend it. I would even reread this book. I learned so much from this book, and it was really well done. And you know, what's not cool about space and physics together in a kind of layman's user friendly way. I truly learned so much reading it, and I don't know, it feels weird to suggest reading a book about astrophysics, but I think you might enjoy it. And I'm slowly reading this fantasy book by Sarah J. Maas, the Crescent City book, the first one. I'm not very far in it, but I'm enjoying it. So that's what I'm reading. I have a lot of like research work right now with my job, and so like I have a couple of presentations next week, and so I really haven't like had the energy to recreationally read a lot right now, or even really knit. Like I've almost been just so tired, and I think that's partly why I, you know, wasn't sure if I'd record this today, but I'm really glad I did. I don't even know what to talk about for personal stuff. I feel like it will be kind of scattered because just so much has happened in 2 weeks, but maybe I'll just think of a couple of key things. So Matilda has a friend named Nora who is into ice skating. So we actually drove up to Washington and we watched Nora's ice skating competition, and that was really fun to go support another young child. And Matilda and I had a fun afterwards. Like we went shopping after, and then the day after that we went to OMSI, which is the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, and we hadn't been there in a while just because we've been doing outdoor things, and it was a really particularly rainy day, and when it's rainy and you don't feel like being outside, it's a good idea to go out inside into a museum. So we did that. I'm trying to think what else. This weekend, we haven't told Matilda yet, but we're going to surprise her, and we're going to take her to Disney on Ice. So I'm really excited, like, to surprise her about that. She's going to be also in the Christmas season. She's going to be in the Nutcracker, so she's been practicing for that. I thought she was going to be an angel, but I'm not allowed to watch the practices. They like go in to dance, and she keeps coming out and telling me she's a flower. So I think I need to email. That's a little self-talk there. I'm actually not sure if she's an angel or a flower in the Nutcracker. What else? So, she's finished one round of swimming, and we signed up for another session. We were able to get her in. It can be really hard to get her into swim lessons. Sometimes like a wait list, and it can be really hard, but she was lucky enough to get in again, and she just like has really blossomed with swimming. She's always like really enjoyed swimming and has done well, but like it's just wild to see her just growing so much. Like she's like working on techniques, like on her backstroke and on her freestyle. She's working on side breaths, and it's just so wild. I am hoping to record this in 2 weeks, and so if I do record this in 2 weeks, it will be before like Matilda's birthday, but there's a possibility I won't exactly record this in 2 weeks, and if that's the case, Matilda could turn 5 by the time I record this podcast next, which is wild to think that I will have a 5-year-old, and my mind is sort of blown by that. I feel like I literally just had her. She's a baby. She's my baby, but she's going to be 5, and so I just feel like time flies, and so just I'm trying to treasure those moments with her. On a personal note, I'm going to be doing a Vlogmas again. I'm going to try for a couple of reasons. One is I really enjoyed it. It was through the act of making a Vlogmas, I feel like I even enjoyed other people's Vlogmases more. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the act of creating mine and then watching other people's, knowing that like they put in that work too. I don't know how to describe it, but I just deeply enjoyed that like Vlogmas conversation. And the other thing is it's kind of cool because like I'm making these memories. Like I've made all these videos of my family at a time that's like my favorite holiday, and that's like really cool. And Matilda loves Christmas too, and yeah, like I'm not saying I'm gonna go back and every year watch all these Vlogmases of my own, but I did watch Vlogmas Day 1 already from last year to kind of get in the spirit of it, and so I am really excited to do that again. And so if you're a podcaster and you're doing Vlogmas, let me know below. I'd love to watch it, or at least a couple of yours if I can't get to all of them. And like if you are somebody that likes to watch podcasts like me, I love watching podcasts, let me know which Vlogmases you like to watch. And yeah, so anyway, I appreciate any of the recommendations you can give me for winter countdown knitting and Vlogmas. Anyway, I hope you have a really great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks.